Hey, Mama. Yeah, you can probably appreciate she's pretty swollen there. And definitely very lame. Well, good morning. Bobby Lee here from Hurricane Creek Farms. Just getting ready to head out for the morning. And couldn't resist coming out here to take a look at these ladies just outside of the backyard. But feels really nice this morning. I don't know. I hadn't even checked the temperature. It's got to be like mid-60s, just almost a little bit on the cool side. But got a few things to do in town. We're gonna head up the road, check on the yearlings, the heifers, kind of on our way into town. Watch out, baby. This crew looks like they are mostly all right here around the feed bunks, just waiting. Hey, come on. You know exactly where I'm going. Sometimes you wonder about them. Yeah, I think we'll get a head count on everybody. Be sure they are all here. There's number 19 right over there at the mineral feeder. Saw somebody just commented on one of the last videos asking how she was doing. Number 19 is the one that had the abscess. So you can maybe see right there kind of on the point of her shoulder where we had drained that thing. Yeah, she's still a little swollen. Kind of maybe you can tell from this angle on that side, but yeah, looking pretty good. She getting around well. She's been up here at the bunks. I mean, she was even still doing that, or trying slowly, even when she had the abscess, but looking pretty good. So, all right, we'll get them a little feed put out and get a head count. Be sure everybody is here. All 59 are here. I think they are really enjoying the cooler weather. I actually checked as I was leaving the house there a minute ago. We were actually in the low 60s. I think we may have even gotten down into the upper 50s overnight. So yeah, it does feel nice. And again, out here just in short sleeves, just a bit on the cool side. Not complaining at all. Don't mistake that for a complaint. I think it's got them feeling a lot more, well, as I scare them all off, eager to get to the feed bunks, which they've been coming to the feed bunks every day, even in the worst of the heat. But this morning was the first time in a while that they've just kind of mobbed me and, you know, been knocking me out of the way. So, of course, they've got grass for days. We really need to move them into the next pasture here just in the next few days. They just haven't been in there in a while. I know that grass over there has got to be just really, you know, big and ready to be grazed. So, but anyway, we can get them sprayed real quickly. Okay, as we pull off out of here, just kind of an update on, you know, kind of long-term plan with these calves, how we're going to market them. Which the bred heifers are probably the simplest, sort of, I guess, at least to explain. We're going to market them as bred heifers here for too much longer. Do plan on ultrasounding them here in the next month or two to kind of, you know, confirm that they are all bred. The ones that tested bred on blood test. We do have, I guess there's 11 steers down here. My brother's going to sell his steers probably in the next month or so. Which he backgrounded, you know, a group of black steers just like we've done in years past for long time years. I think he only has like 35 or so, and so we're gonna get our black ones that'll match up with his and ship them with them. I think we're also gonna take our open black heifers, so the 9 of the purchased heifers that didn't get bred, plus we may have 2 or 3 homegrown heifers that are black or black white faced, just to send up there. Black is still king in feeder cattle auctions, so we'll keep the colored calves on the steer side of things to feed out ourselves, and then the Brahma cross heifers, the stripes and just ear calves that aren't bred, we're probably going to breed this winter to calve next fall. But anyway, we have mentioned that before, but going to be moving some cattle here within the next month or so. or at least that's the tentative plan. All right, back home, back out in the pasture. Yeah, I changed clothes. Had to run in town to go to the doctor, so got that over with. Just a regular checkup. Everything's good. But we had a cow that's had a sore foot. Noticed the last day or two. I'm gonna get her up and treat her. I gotta find her. The bulk of the cows are in the other pasture. Didn't see her with them. She's not out here with this group either. I mean, it's no doubt a byproduct of the fact that she's lame. She's not moving around much. But we gotta find her and then see if we can get her to the barn so we can address this issue. And there she is. So it's one of her back feet. Let's see while she's laying there. Now you can get a decent look. Yeah, it's gonna be that left rear. Hey, Mama. Yeah, you can probably appreciate she's pretty swollen there. And definitely very lame. So, she's actually in a decent spot. She's closer to the barn than the rest of the group. We'll see if we can ease her up that way. Okay, we got her headed that way. I don't think there's anything in the foot. She gave us a pretty decent look there while she was laying down. I think this is one of the situations, you know, with moisture and all, that they get, you know, essentially foot rot, just a bacterial infection. Really make them swell up and be very sore. Of course, we've been fairly dry, but, and of course I probably hit on this in every video, especially when we're trying to get in the hayfield. You can see on my boots there, with the way our dew, you know, so heavy almost every day, their feet are in fairly wet conditions for a good portion of every day, even when it's not raining. So anyway, we're gonna get her up. We'll double check, make sure there's nothing stuck in there, and then get her treated. Okay, slowly made our way up here and get our gates open and moved around. That way we can run her down there into the chute. Go on, Big Mama. Good girl. Good girl. There you go. These horse flies off of you. Carol. Go on, Mama. Mama. I killed some horse flies and nothing else. Go on down there. Go on down there. There you go. She saw it. The weeds have about taken over this area, but as we hinted to in the past, we're about to redo all this, have it under roof. Gonna have at least some of it concrete, where it's nice for when we're feeding during the winter, but it's very, very swollen, a little mud. Yeah, there's nothing, no stick or any kind of foreign object in there. So we're gonna treat her as we typically do these. We're gonna give her a dose of an antibiotic, dose of an anti-inflammatory, and then watch her and see if we need to repeat treatment here again in a few days. We've been pretty fortunate, other than with the bulls, which of course we babied them a little more. Most of the sore feet we haven't had to treat more than once, but we'll just have to see how she does over these next few days. Okay, she's been treated. We've been letting the bulls come up in here. They come through that gate over there, around all that junk. Come up in here to eat, put a little feed out for them every day. So I do need to direct her back that way so she can go back with the rest of the herd. She does have a calf out here, so we do need her to stay with them. In typical fashion, the herd, they're being restless. Go back in there. Go back in there. I promise. I'm gonna open another gate. You can go back to pasture. You know, just because that's what they do. They're always restless, anxious. Whatever terminology you want to use about wanting to get out of here and go to the next pasture. And really, moving them back over onto the neighbor's place is probably about the right time. But you know, I don't want to separate her from the rest of the herd and her calf. So I'm probably gonna make everybody hold tight for a few more days. Reality is we have good grass everywhere. Same issue I was trying to talk about at the other farm, where it's time to rotate to a new pasture, but at the same time, they've still got belly deep grass where they are. So going out of here so I can open this back up for the bulls, baby. So now to a job where I always say I'm the least competent probably of all things I have to do on the farm, and that is pretending to be a mechanic. But you got this tiny, or I shouldn't say tiny, a slow little oil leak, which you can see. Yeah, I don't like all that oil there right below the filter, and then just a little drip. It's a very slow leak. We have not had to add any to it. I just started doing this like in the last time or two we've used it. I'll try to show you when I changed the oil, and of course changed the filter back in the spring. I had a little bit of an issue with the filter, so it's probably not a coincidence that I ran into that, and then now I'm having this trouble. But I'm gonna take that filter off, be sure everything looks good. Go ahead and put a new filter on, and fingers crossed, that's gonna be the extent of this little project. Filter looks normal, but that was definitely all the oil that drained out of the filter was essentially the leak, because there's none in there. I always struggle with over tightening the filter, so you don't want to get it too tight. It says get it hand tight and then one more full turn. So, all right, there's hand tight. Okay, crank it up, let it run, let it circulate some oil. We'll be able to watch it over the next few days. Reality, we really don't need this tractor anytime super soon. We're just not gonna be in a hay field anytime in the next few weeks. Do need to push some trees out of the field, but we're gonna need this bigger tractor, probably the little one. But also gonna let it run for just a minute, because the battery, like, she barely wanted to turn over. See if she'll charge back up. Had to boost this thing off last time when we baled hay. It's frustrating because just put a new battery on it, so I don't know what exactly the issue is there, but she didn't want to start, but she did. Okay, got the disc mower on here. Got her back under the barn. One, so we can take advantage of the shade. Two, this very well could turn into a multi-day project. Not expecting any rain, but we got it in here where we can have our tools all out and whatnot. But those of you that watched last time, we've got bolts, which that one's not real loose. Or it's kind of in a bind, but it's backed out. Those bolts are all stripped. We're gonna try to repair those bolt holes. I have to replace the bolts too. But anyway, first things first, we're gonna take this disc off so that we can just access it a little easier. I have to rig that up with multiple extensions. Alright, now that I got that disc off there, we can see all those bolts very easily. And now we just have to see if we can get them out of there, which that should be the easy part. Essentially, this whole apparatus, in combination with those 3 bolts down there, is what holds all of that together. So, okay, so we got this first one right here. I didn't film a lot of it just because with that one, can't really see much. If that one did right, we're gonna move on to these others here in a bit, and I'll film it. We got the helical in there. I don't have the right bolts. I thought I did. That's why I'm glad we're tackling this project on a weekday, not like on a random Sunday afternoon. I can run right into town to our local hardware store ads, get those bolts that we're gonna need until it's early enough in the day that whenever I get home and I didn't get exactly what I needed, I'll still have time to go back. But about 11:30, I'm gonna grab a quick bite of lunch. Just trying to take it slow and easy, no need to be in a hurry. I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons I fail as a mechanic sometimes. I'm not super patient, which a lot of times we have a breakdown like this right when we're in the middle of trying to get hay cut or something. So going ahead and fixing this when we're not in that situation is, I feel like going to pay off by being proactive there. But anyway, okay, my belly's full. I ate too much. I tend to just eat 2 meals, like on days I'm out on the farm. I either eat a big breakfast and then don't eat again until supper, or like today I kind of skipped breakfast, ate kind of an early lunch. But anyway, got our hardware. I think I got what I needed. I don't know. If I didn't, it's my fault. But yeah, shout out to your small town, locally owned hardware stores and just locally owned businesses in general. All my local people in Tipton County, I'm sure are very familiar with hat ads, but just so nice to be able to just run right up the road and buy it from somebody that I know, and support those businesses like that. But anyway, all right, we drilled it. Now we tap it. All right, got her drilled and tapped. Now we're gonna insert the helicoil. It's basically a little spring. Never used these before until, well, this project, so we shall see. We shall see. This fancy little tool to install it with. Now some Loctite. By some, I mean a lot of Loctite. That's 2 in there. Pretty snug. I don't know, I'm nervous about over cranking them. And I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty certain this bolt is the only original one that never broke off. So I'm kind of hesitant to swap it out. Get these other 3 in there, make sure that one will tighten up. That might be it. So we just got 1 more hole to go. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say that 85 degrees that it's supposed to get up to today. Still pretty warm in the shade, but it's better than last week when we were nearly 100 actual temperature, not counting heat index. So they are all tight. So we drilled and tapped those 3, put helicoils in them, Loctite, cinched them back down. That is the one bolt that's never been a problem. I just cranked on it pretty good, tightened it down. Does not appear to be stripped out. So we're probably gonna leave that one as is. I'm gonna put just a little more torque on them, be sure I got them sufficiently tight. Then get that disc back on there and then pick up a whole bunch of tools and trash. And then we'll pray that come 3 or 4 weeks from now when we're mowing again, these things stay tight and don't start backing out. Let's check after we let this tractor sit here for a little while. With that little drop of oil there. Tell you what, it is dripping some oil still. It's very, very little. And who knows, that could have been some that was residual from when we changed it out. Got fairly clean dirt there. Keep a watch on that over the next few hours to few days. See if that's done. Which I didn't think I was going to get to this rake cylinder today, just because, well, I really didn't know how long that disc mower project was going to take. But it's only 1:45, so we can get this cylinder off here and see if we can diagnose the problem that it is having. But around that head right there is where it had appeared to have been leaking. I don't know, other than potentially just needing some Teflon tape. Which y'all know, we'd probably be lucky if that's all it was. I don't know. Thankfully, I could find a roll of Teflon tape. It's like, I don't want to have to drive all the way to town, which is only like 5 miles. But, you know, just take the time to do that, to buy a $2 roll of Teflon tape that I should have. Don't know if this is going to be the entirety of the problem, but we're going to start simple. We'll go from here. If it doesn't fix it, but I'm 99% certain it was blowing the oil out or leaking. It wasn't blowing it out, but just leaking right around that. So we'll see. But now this means I've got to, which I was probably going to take the mower back off that tractor anyway, because again, it's going to be like 3 weeks before we need it again. Although this would possibly be the next thing we would need it for, is mowing hay, but whatever. I gotta hook a tractor up to this, to the rake, to see if it's gonna still leak. And I don't need to wait until we're ready to use it again. So yeah, we're just gonna take the mower off that tractor and back it up over there. See if that does the trick. If not, we'll I don't know if it's gonna be much more complicated than this. Like I said, I think in the last video, you can get this exact cylinder for like less than $200. It's $200 I'd rather not spend. But, you know, rather than, you know, really trying to diagnose the issue and keep getting it wrong kind of thing, that may be the easiest way. Time is money. My time's worth something, and so just to be able to fix it and not have to worry about it, do it quickly, may be worth spending that money. But we'll see if this does it first. Well, I came over here to the barn, horse barn, to put up my DeWalt, and look who we have in there. What are you doing, miss? Oh, go on out of here. You know better. Go back to your home. Go back to your home where your friends are. Well, we're her friend, I guess. That's what she's thinking of it. I was her mother, essentially, for the first 3 or 4 months of her life. But she's been doing a really good job, but cows are in these pastures right next to the house, so I guess it's a little too tempting for her to come up here and reminisce about the days of old when she lived in the horse barn. Okay, we're gonna hook this bad boy back up and hopefully see that we've got a hydraulic leak repaired. Up and down, a couple of times. Let's go look, see what it looks like. You know what? Maybe, just maybe, there's no, that's fresh oil. You can see where it has leaked out, just as it was sitting here parked. That was one reason why I went ahead and looked at the drawbar. I'm gonna pull it up just like 2 feet, then unhook from it and leave it sitting here, and if problem solved, there better not be any oil there underneath it over the next few days. Kind of like the tractor. Okay. I like how things have gone so far today. If that's really all it was, that is fantastic. My dad was already, because I mean, you just need to replace the cylinder. He kind of convinced me, but yeah, it's worth it to spend that money just to save the time fighting with it. But that's really all it was. Not 100% convinced, although it looks pretty leak tight right now. We'll know for sure next time we go to the hayfield, but I'm pretty happy with it for now. So we're gonna get this unhooked, get the tractor parked back in the barn. Yeah, been a good day. Those 3 maintenance problems, which we're not doing a touchdown dance yet, that all the problems are solved. But let's look here at the tractor again. I'm starting to get convinced that we may have fixed that problem. I feel pretty darn good about that. The disc mower's back together. I mean, it's back together probably as good as I'm gonna ever get it back together. So, you know, the real test, we won't know until we get it out and run it, you know, for a few hours, you know, over several acres, and just, you know, put a ratchet back on those bolts and be sure they're not trying to loosen up on us. So, and it's gonna be just a little while before we can do that. But I feel confident that we're ready to go to the field. We're just waiting on hay to be ready again. So, but anyway, it's almost 2:30. I think I'm gonna get in the house, get cleaned up a little bit. I'm gonna go to town, go for a run. It's one thing at the doctor this morning, which I was fully dressed. It's over 200 pounds. I mean, I know if I was, you know, weighing myself in my underwear, you know, if I was weighing in for a fight, I wouldn't be at 200. But I'm also not getting any fights anytime soon. Not that I plan on anyway. But yeah, I need to go for a run. My blood pressure was also just a little high. The doctor said he wasn't super worried about where it was, but normally my blood pressure is borderline low. And so I'm like, dadgum, you know? It probably didn't help that I drank like 6 cups of coffee before I got there. But anyway, I'm rambling on. We're gonna get some stuff done with the family. Keep tuning back in. We'll be yeah, probably the next big thing. I know I keep saying this. We're gonna preg check the cow herd at some point. Need to find a cool morning like we had this morning, but we already had these other plans this morning, and I had to go to the doctor. If we catch another morning where it's down in the upper 50s, low 60s, probably run those cows through the chute and get some blood from them. But anyway, check back in. We'll be checking on that cow, being sure her foot's doing better, that sort of thing. We appreciate y'all watching. Y'all come back to us next time. Thumbs up, subscribe, you know all those things. You've already done it, I know. But y'all eat beef and God bless. I just thought I was done with the chores. And this beautiful lady wanted to get out of the house for a minute, and I said we need to fill up the mineral feeder anyway, so brought her along for a ride. And her little sissy dog, who refuses to come to the barn with me, but he'll go if she's with us. Normally Willis pulls the tab for me. Do you want to come do that?
As long as if it's going to prevent it from being on the ground or in my barn aisle, then sure.
What do you mean? Tab?
Mm-hmm.
No,
you like to like open bags and just leave them in the tabs and leave it all over the place.
I didn't bring you with me so that I could get lectured. Thought a nice, relatively not terribly hot, breezy afternoon you would enjoy.
Oh, yeah, that's why I walk down.
No, you never miss an opportunity to lecture me on something.